Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Southern Reads podcast, the show where I talk about books and only books and everything book related. Today, I am joined by Mr. Willie Alsedek. Willie is a mixed fiction author who turns his books into immersive audiobooks. He keeps his readers turning the pages with unexpected consequences and the listeners engaged with fully immersive audio experiences. So today, he's here to share with us a little bit about his journey as an audiobook teller and kind of share a little bit about what made him want to turn books into very immersive audiobooks. So, Willie, thank you so much for coming on Southern Reads. It's an honor to have you on today.
Thanks for having me on, Noah. I appreciate it.
So, tell me a little bit about what made you inspired to start turning books into these very immersive audiobooks and to have like a very good experience for the listener.
Well, my passion started with movies. I wanted to, so before writing books, I was writing screenplays, and movies are expensive. So I was writing for very limited resources, which was not that much fun. And so when I started branching out and kind of removing that, like the price tag off of my words, I started getting more into just fully on writing books. And I kind of abandoned the screenplay movie dream. And then after writing a couple books, I freelance in a digital media space, so I have a very large sound effects library. And one day I just kind of thought it'd be kind of fun to make a like a little radio play with something that I wrote. And so I turned a short story, kind of like an experiment with all the sound effects that I had, and it felt like listening to a movie, and that like the original passion kind of ignited, and I just kept doing it. Now I have a full book audiobook now.
When you started testing and kind of practicing about doing the audiobooks, did you want to focus more on children's books since they have with children's books they have pictures, that you could actually be able to share a little bit more about what's going on, or did you focus more on like the chapter books, that don't have very limited pictures in them?
Yeah, chapter books. I am writing a kids book with my wife. Well, maybe have a couple pictures, but more, I guess, yeah, young adult. Yeah, but I would like to find an artist to team up with to do kids books. Would be a lot of fun. I have a 4 year old and I love reading kids books to him, so it would be fun to tap into that.
When you were doing the audiobooks, did you rent out a studio or did you go to a recording studio to do the audio uh recordings, or did you do them from home in your own home studio? What was that process like?
Well, I had an art studio that I shared with my wife, and because I worked in digital media production, I have a lot of the equipment already. So I just kind of got the last few pieces that I didn't have, built a little sound booth, and yeah, piece by piece, as it went along, I kind of my studio became more and more a sound production space.
Did you like recording and doing kind of book recording in one day, or did you do a lot of a chapter a day? And typically, how long did each recording session go for?
A couple hours. I would try to do as many chapters as I could because I just love doing it. But your voice wears out, so you kind of can't do too much because then you start sounding different. So I would have to take breaks. So after a few experiments, I would just do one chapter a night.
So, what is it about your take on audiobooks that may be different from what you typically see from most audio book authors that have this as their career? You have the professional storytellers that come into a studio, they basically read off a page. Is there anything that you do differently that most people would probably be surprised to hear?
I don't know. I haven't seen too much of what anyone else is doing. So yeah, I don't know if there's something else that would be unique to how I'm going about it.
I know that you have mentioned that you also wrote a book as well. Do you prefer the writing process and then going to record it, or do you prefer, or did you prefer at the time just doing the audio versions? Like someone could come to you and be like, "Hey, I have this book that I'm really wanting to turn into an audiobook. Would you mind doing it?" Or do you like doing kind of a mix of them?
I have yet to do audio for another author's work. I'm not opposed to it, um, but it is so much work just doing one. So it's kind of hard to allot the time then to bring another artist in. So yeah, so far it's just turning my own work into the audiobooks. Yeah.
This has always been a topic of discussion that I see on all the book community tabs about, does audiobooks kind of count as reading? And I kind of want to get your stance on this as well. Do you think that audiobooks is considered reading or not?
Um, yes and no. I mean, it's different. Reading a book, it's different. It uses your brain different. I don't think it's any less of an experience, and I think that anyone who gets into an argument with someone is wasting their time. Because if someone's listened to it and someone's read it, why debate other whose experience of it was like more valid? Just talk about the book. You've both, have it in your head. So now that's the whole point of the story, is to now share your thoughts and feelings on the actual book, not how you read the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've always considered it a part of reading. I always thought that it was considered reading. I mean, what's the difference in uh, what would the difference in being like listen to an audiobook and then following along the book, which I've done multiple times on about 2 or 3x speed. Some people read like turtles, but I've never gotten the debate. Some people are very hardcore of like
Yes,
audiobooks
they
is
are.
not reading a book. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
what's the difference in holding it in your hand and just listening to it? So I'm part of the minority that's like, I consider it, I count it as reading. I mean, some people don't have time to like sit there and hold a book and read
Definitely.
it personally. They prefer listening to it. So I consider it. If you don't, then I don't know what else to tell you. But I've
I
always
think I think anyone who thinks it's reading, good, then it's reading, and anyone who says no, that's not reading, they need to stop complaining that someone else is listening to it instead of reading, and just talk about the story. Same thing with like going to see the movie version. Like just talk about the story.
exactly. Now, when it comes to the movie, I do have to say that there are some differences in there
Oh yeah.
about that, but I w- for that I wouldn't really. I wonder if some people out there consider watching the movie and adaptation of it as like considered reading to them.
I mean, it's
Does it?
definitely different. And a lot of times the movie is very different from the book. And then having somebody try to capture the visual experience is vastly different than what we create in our minds when we're reading something.
Yeah, I'm surprised someone out there has not actually came up with that hypothesis. I might just come up with that as like this be like a talking point. Um, so with your book coming up, do you plan on writing more in the future, or has this writing experience been like, I've done it. I don't think I'm going to continue doing it. And how has writing been for you?
I love writing. I will never stop writing. I've written 5 novels now, and I'm currently, I think, 10 or 12 chapters into a new one, and I'm outlining, I think it's like 27 other books that I want to write that I already have the ideas for, and I'm pretty gung ho about. So I don't think I'm going to be stopping anytime soon.
When you go into the recording studio, do you use like multiple voices for different characters? Because this is something I've also been interested and intrigued about as well. It's like I've never understood why some people do it, but I kind of understand. I know with some audio books that some people there could be 500 characters and one person does all characters in one voice and they don't really change it. But then there's some that, have that same amount of characters and then have a different person for each character. Is there a reason why some have other people come in there? I know it's probably to help differentiate the characters and who is speaking when people are just listening to it, but why is it with some audiobooks they've only had one person do it?
I think it's just down to preference. Um, how to read the story. Some people just like hearing one person read the book because they just want the book to be read, and they don't like anything with like other characters, voices coming in, or music or sound effects. They find it all kind of distracting. And some people, like myself, I get kind of bored with just one voice, especially reading an entire book. It gets kind of monotonous, and I kind of get like hypnotized, and I get a little sleepy. So I prefer I need something to keep my attention a little more. So I like that's why I went into the direction I went doing immersive audiobooks because that's just the what I prefer. I do sometimes think about making the other versions to because I don't want to like alienate the other people. I want anyone who likes audiobooks to still enjoy my work. So I'm trying to convince myself to make that just read versions for those people, but again, it's time because it is a very long process just to write the book, but then to go in and because I do different voices for each character, is I try to perform it. I want it to sound like a movie, and then yeah, making the sound effects, and I write my own music for it, to have an original like score and feel to the piece. So it takes a lot of time.
Well, I kind of want to play a little game because I tend to have like a pile of books here, and I've never played a game on any of the podcasts. So we'll see how this goes. But I'm going to show you a list of books, and if you've not read them or anything, if you need me to give you like a synopsis on it, but I want you to see, and of course I know that it's audio, so I won't tell y'all what the book is, but I wanted you to like share with me how you would go about recording if you were saying the person of these books came to you and said, "Hey, I've heard what you do. I want to have my book be an immersive experience. Share with me all what you would do to maybe help um bring these books to life." So the first one I have on top is the Matched book. Oh,
Okay,
this is not working out well. So it's
your screen
Matched
enough.
by Ali Condi. If it's like a dystopian, think of it as like the Hunger Games or Divergent, that those series. How would you bring this book to life?
Well, first I would read it, and then I would kind of get a feel for the characters, and then I would find voices for them, and I would kind of make like a little package of different options for each character. So then the author could listen to them, and because I'm sure they have an idea in their head of what these characters should sound like, and they could listen to what I come up with, either like them or give me kind of direction of which ways they would like it to go to sound more like how they feel it is. And then I would start to build like a little test song, like a theme song, I guess, um, to accompany the mood of the book to try and capture that. So then we could build like a soundscape to that the book could kind of live in. And then once they were happy with those two elements, I would start recording. I would probably put one chapter together so they could listen to like a complete thought, and then we would do more dissecting, more notes, and from there we would probably get kind of like the direction we would want to go, and then just kind of copy paste. I would move through the creative process and continue to share as we went along, and kind of carving it like a sculpture.
Okay, with the next one that I'll show, just look at the cover and kind of just based off the cover, what you would think the audiobook would sound like. Like, would it be suspenseful? Would it be funny or
Okay.
anything? So this one, for people that are for reference, it's The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Herb, and this is what the cover looks like. So based off this cover, what would you think that the audiobook would be sound from just from looking at it?
Okay. Well, it would probably be a little suspenseful, a little slow burning, a little ominous, heavy. It looks like it's definitely emotionally packing some punches. Yeah.
That was probably you nailed it on that one. It is suspenseful, and I like that you said it was a slow burn because it does take a little bit of getting into it. So that was kind of like um a good a good example of that. We'll do one more and then we'll wrap things up because we got time. But based off of this cover,
That looks playful. Um, kind of messy, maybe like a coming of age thing, someone learning something about themselves. Yeah, I'm hearing kind of some fun piano. Well, yeah.
so the book that I mentioned was Room by Emma Donoghue. It doesn't really follow that. It's kind of more of a it focuses on a mother, and the book is actually told from a 5-year-old's perspective.
Oh, that's fun.
And the book actually is kind of a sad one because his mom and him are trapped in this one room that they're not allowed to leave. And so it was emotionally like captivating on that, but there was some in there. It I would say it is coming of age, but the playful music, you'd have to read it, but you got the coming of age one, but that was kind of a fun game that I just made up on the spot. As you can see, that was very well crafted, y'all, but all my podcasts are not really planned as well, but but
I like those.
um
Interesting.
so going forward, do you see with audiobooks, do you see audiobooks being popular? Do you think there's kind of like a fade out of the popularity over audiobooks now?
I No, I don't think. I think the only real issue right now with audiobooks is AI. Um, I think people love audiobooks and they're not going to stop loving audiobooks. And I think people are going to want more and more like authenticity. And AI is just kind of like it is in most pockets of creative places. It's just kind of mucking it all up. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to want to stop listening to audiobooks. It's a very fun way to get your stories. When I'm home, I read, but I do a lot of driving for work, so I have an audiobook on in the car wherever I go.
What advice would you give to someone if someone is wanting to do a career as being a audiobook teller, they want to kind of have this career of bringing these stories to life? What advice do you have for them of how they can be prepared for what the job entails and how they can really do a really good job of bringing these author stories to life and their by using their voice?
Well, I would start just by reading things out loud, getting a feel for your voice and your range, and hop on to. There's so many places on social media where people in these fields are open and sharing how they do it. Um, yeah, I would get find the communities. They're not hard to find. And yeah, just put yourself out there with any kind of reading you can. Ask for advice. Make videos of your voice recording. Go ask people, what do you think? And I think you'll be pretty surprised at how positive people are with feedback and encouraging they can be.
Well, Willie, I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come on the podcast today to share kind of your experience as a writer, as share your experience in being an audiobook teller as well. For my audience that's interested, if they would like to check you out on the socials, if they would love to read your books and listen to your audiobooks, where can they go to learn more information, and where can they go to follow you as well so that they can keep up to see what you have going on behind the scenes and continue to follow you at?
My website is woolywilly.com, and all of my socials are Woolly Willy.
And I will put all these links in the description box below. His website, socials will be in the description box in the show notes. So just feel free to go check that out. And I will put links to uh, and they'll be as clickable links, so it'll take you right to his website and all them. Easy to find. Feel free to follow the podcast on the socials. You can reach out to me on Instagram and TikTok at southern.reads. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Noah's Podcast. I'm also on Goodreads, Fable, Margins, and Storygraph. Feel free to follow me on there. It's hard because they all have different usernames. I just put them as links and clickable links in the description box, and they're on my website as well at noahspodcast.com. Feel free to just check there or on the website to see where I'm available at, and it's all clickable links. It should take you right to my profile. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in today's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to subscribe so you get notified of when new episodes come out. It's available on all Southern Reads is on all major platforms. So I appreciate you all for taking time out of your schedule to um, listen to the episode. Again, a huge thank you to Willie for coming onto the podcast today. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Be safe, and I will see you on the next episode of Southern Reads.